Hey, this is Markiplier. And today we're gonna be talking about Cusco's poison.
Right, the poison. Cusco's poison. The poison specifically chosen to kill Cusco. That poison?
Hello, welcome back to the Double Take Review. My name is Andrew. I'm joined by my friend Miguel.
Yo.
And today we're going to be taking a look at Alien Isolation by Sega.
Wait.
Well, it's a Sega game, brother.
Oh, it is published by Sega. I didn't even notice.
Yeah.
I was distracted by the 20th Century Fox thing.
I think most people kind of lose interest when the alien is killed off and then you're chased by Sonic for 12 hours. So yeah, he does know the way.
True.
In any case, Alien Isolation is a survival horror game set in the Aliens universe with some Metroidvania mechanics and a light crafting system. Miguel.
Yes.
Well, I should say preface before I ask you how you feel. For once, this is a game I had already previously played. I had put somewhere between 4 and 6 hours into it. I'm not exactly sure, it's been a while, but I played a little bit of a refresher, watched Miguel play it and watched a few videos of it earlier, got myself reacquainted with the game, and I believe I'm ready to talk about it. But before that, what did you think in your short amount of time playing?
I was pretty into it. It looked amazing it's another 2014 game, so we have a bunch of games from 3 from 2014, 1 from 2015, and 1 from 2008 now.
Yes.
And this looks much better than the other 2 games from 2014.
I don't know. I wouldn't say particularly looks better than any of them. I think the graphics are amazing, but the other games are also very stylized, so...
Right, but lighting is one thing that is always going to be you can gauge which one has better lighting.
I'll be honest with you, lighting is not something I ever pay attention to.
I see.
In most games, I actually turn shadows off.
Wow. Alright.
So, yeah. Or if not off, I just put them on, light. Or, is that light?
Low?
Low, thank you. So, yeah, it's not something I personally really get invested in.
Uh-huh. Okay.
That being
Man,
said,
the whole ray tracing wave coming on really does not interest you at all.
I could give a fuck.
Yeah.
Like,
to me, that shit is amazing. It's drugs.
Man, I really don't know if my little indie games will take full advantage of ray tracing, Miguel.
They absolutely might. If they're 3D.
So, Alien Isolation, horror game, super good. I think it has some issues, but the number one thing that sticks out to me in this game, beyond any other horror game I've played, is the fucking sound design and the ambient noise and just the overall feeling you get when you're playing. In other words, it's very good in sucking you into this world and making you think you're into it. One of the last things Miguel did, when you get to the end of the very first area, you click this button to call a train or whatever, and the music just starts amping up and your heartbeat starts going in the game, because there's this sensation that the alien is right fucking there. And the whole game is chocked full of really good choices like that makes the player never quite know when they're actually safe or actually in danger.
I wouldn't know, considering I haven't gotten any further than that. But yeah, the music is a huge part of the tension and suspense that you feel. It's very cinematic in that way. Speaking of cinematic, that first in-game cut, not in-game, but pre-rendered cutscene you see, that shit looks great. The motion capture is amazing in the cutscenes for this. It's really jarring when you get back to in-engine interactions with people.
There's a bit of a difference. It's not as drastic as do you remember watching fucking cutscenes for PS2 games? And they would be fantastic looking for Final Fantasy games or Kingdom Hearts or whatever. Then you go back to the actual graphics and it.
Right. Yeah. like Final Fantasy and everything. I'm not just talking about the graphics though. I'm talking about the animation specifically. Like when you're talking to characters in the like in game while
Mhm.
it's running, they look like AI. They look like robots, but they got really good motion capture for the cutscenes.
It's funny that you say that because they're obviously you didn't get that far, but eventually when you're playing, there are like actual AI robots on the ship that are trying to get you.
Oh yeah, that's an alien thing.
Oh, okay, I've never actually seen Alien.
Ah, okay, yeah, that's right.
This was my
Horror films.
oh yeah, it's weird. I can't really do horror films, but I can do like survival horror games.
Hmm.
I didn't realize there was AI on this ship. This is like my first foray into the Aliens universe, so I don't even know what the fuck it's called, but the actual alien in this game is terrifying looking.
Yeah, they're called by fans xenomorphs. I don't believe they actually have a name. That's
Okay.
just like identifying them as a non-humanoid, right?
Okay.
I'm
Well,
not sure if they ever refer to them by xenomorph in the series.
but yeah, it's like it does a great job of putting you in the game. The story is engaging. There's a lot of things that the game sets up as safeguards that later on the game. I'm not sure if Miguel is planning on eventually playing through this, so I guess if you are, you can mute me for a second. But there are safeguards that the game gives you in the beginning of the game or sets up that it then takes advantage of the player later on. That I just think is like genius within a horror game. It does above and beyond what a lot of other horror games do.
Horror games does do, yeah. I would say it's very much comfortable in the horror game genre. It feels a lot like playing uh, any of those like late 2000s like what was it called, Amnesia, stuff like that.
For now, yeah.
but but it's a lot more like polished, being as big of a production as it is.
I will say later on in the game when you get to get weapons, the actual gunplay in the game is pretty decent. Also,
Oh, that's good.
it handles fairly well, um, and combat in the game itself is fairly enjoyable. Though, along with most survival horror games, ammo is limited, etc., etc.
Hmm.
So, yeah, honestly, this is one of those games where I could give it a full recommendation and probably in a straight up A grade. Like I've played enough of the game to be able to tell you that if you like survival horror games or you find yourself fancy of the Alien franchise, then 100% go out of your way to play this.
Yeah, absolutely. I give it the same exact uh, assessment. Like if you're into survival and or horror, awesome.
Yep.
Even better, you like Alien, go for it.
Yep. I don't know if it's super common. In your experience, do horror games have Metroidvania elements like they do in this game?
Which ones do you mean specifically?
For example, in the beginning parts of the game, like you need a plasma cutter or whatever to get through doors, or
Oh, right.
you
Okay,
need
yeah, like the Doom key card and stuff like that.
key
Yeah.
cards or whatever. Like you unlock more abilities, and you can then go back to further back parts of the game or back in parts of the game to unlock more stuff.
No, not really. They're more often just one-time key items and puzzles and stuff.
For sure. So that's something it has going for it.
Yeah, got a lot more not replayability, but exploration.
All right. I think that's about it. We'll see you guys tomorrow.
Yep. Peace.